And we saw his healing angel. But last month, or this month actually, a couple weeks ago, I was in Brownsville, and I was speaking at their, one of the things they've kept from the revival is the conference called Branded by Fire. So I went out to Branded by Fire and spoke there. And the first night that I got up, I think it was the middle of the conference, whatever it was, I flew in and spoke that night. And right before I get up, I just have 2 words of knowledge before I get up, and I just have a sense, man, the Lord wants to do something right now. So they introduced me, they bring me up, I get up, there's probably about 1,200 people in the sanctuary, these young people, and I got up in Florida, and I got up and they said, "This is Ben." I come up, I said, "Hey, how you guys doing?" And I said, "Listen, if you have asthma," right away, I said, "if you have asthma, stand up right now." And out of the room, about 25 or 30 of these young guys stood up. No prayer, no anything, nobody laid hands on them. I said, "If you have asthma, get out of your chair right now and test it out." I said, "Go run outside or do whatever you got to do, test it out." And about 25 or 30 of these young people began someone went outside, started running, some just started sprinting around the sanctuary. They were just running up and down aisles and sprinting all over the place. And I let it go for about 2 minutes, and then I said, "All right, everybody stop." And I said, "If you have been completely healed or are drastically better, I want you to come forward." 25, I think it was almost everybody that stood. 25 young people come forward. And we lined them all up, and we said, nobody laid hands on them. No, there was no prayer, nothing. I said, "Stand up and test it out." Instantly healed. 25 of them. They come forward, and I begin to get their testimonies. And some of them were like I've never had asthma, but asthma was brutal. And they're like, anytime I start running, it feels like somebody's choking me or somebody's sitting on my chest. And this one girl said, if I start running, within 5 seconds, I begin to wheeze, and it feels like somebody's punching me in the side. And she said, "I just ran for 2 minutes, and I am breathing completely fine." She was instantly healed. She was so excited. This girl, this little 15-year-old man, just this little spunky little girl. She was so excited, she goes, "I gotta run again." And she just in the middle of the testimony starts running in circles around the sanctuary and comes back forward and goes, "Do you want to hear me breathe?" She was so excited she could breathe after running. This one girl was actually was starting an asthma attack in worship. In worship, she began to have an asthma attack and started freaking out because she had forgotten her inhaler at home or at the hotel. She'd forgotten her inhaler, and so in the middle of worship, she begins to have an attack, starts freaking out because she forgot her inhaler and had to sit down and try to calm herself down so she wouldn't go into an asthma attack. When I said, "If you have asthma, stand up and test it out," this girl, knowing she doesn't have an inhaler and she just about had an asthma attack, when I said test it out, she gets out of her chair and begins to run. Instantly, completely healed. Completely healed. You should see her. I mean, she was so excited. She's just up there and they were just 25 of them, the same story after story after story. If I run, they said, "I have 2 inhalers right over there right now." And I could not run like this, and I would be hurting bad. And I'm completely fine. I'm completely healed. And so we interviewed all 25 of them, and then I turned to them, and then I had 2 words of knowledge before I got there. And I got up and I said, "If you have an ankle injury from sports, organized sports, skateboarding, some type of sport activity, if you have an ankle injury, stood up." About 45 or 50 people stood up, and I did the same thing. I said, "Get out, test it right now." That's the cutest little 9-year-old in the universe right there. Look at that. Ellie, wave to everybody. Oh, she's got a little wave. That's a good-looking girl. I said, "If you have an ankle injury, stand up." And they did, man. They started running around. They're like jumping on their ankles and everything in the aisle. About a minute into it, no prayer, no laying hands. And about a minute into it, I said, "If you've been completely healed or you're drastically better, come forward." 48 people in a minute get healed, completely healed. And I only interviewed I interviewed the people that had surgery on their ankles or whatever. And people had surgery 3 years ago, and they're like, I could never do this. And then we prayed for some knees. But in just a matter of a few minutes, 90 people, with all but 2 of them, 90 people, nobody laying hands on them, nobody even saying a prayer. They just got up and tested out, completely healed. This is the type of stuff that's happening. I'm telling you, like right now it's happening in the nation. Right now it's happening even in this room, what's about to be released. This stuff is happening right now. It's just available. Like, it's available. If you have asthma, stand up. If you have asthma in the room, stand up. Now, the people that are standing, if you ran, would you be able to tell if you were healed? What's the best way to test it for the people that are standing? How would you know right now? If I said test it out, how would you know you're healed? Nobody knows? We're like, I have no idea. Well, that's what I'm saying. But I'm saying, if you did activity, would you know from your breathing if something happened? Do this right now. Listen, just get out and just test it out. You can go out those doors, and there's some stuff out there. You can go out those doors. Go out and test it out right now. While they're doing that, if you have a lingering injury from a car accident, stand up. If you've been in a car accident and you have a lingering injury, you still have pain from a car accident, stand up. All right, listen. Get out of your chairs, get in the aisle, and test it. Is there a way to test it? Move it around, do something, but get out in the aisles. I actually want you to get out of your chairs though, and test it out right now. Raise your hand if you have an injury from a car accident that's still lingering around. Raise your hand real quick. Test it out right now. Just test it. Do something. I'm going to talk to Ashley about really quickly. Those that have lingering car accident injuries from a car accident lingering. If when you tested it out, you're completely healed or you're drastically better, raise your hand. Let me see this. Back there, right there, right there, right there. What happened with you back there? Hold on, let me hear this. You got a rotator cuff? You got rear-ended and your shoulder's been hurting? It's been hurting for years, and it's hurting bad today. And what would you have done that would have been painful? Just going like that would have been painful, and you can raise that up, no pain at all. What happened over here? Did something happen? You had a car accident? What was it? How long ago? How long ago was your car accident? Hold on, can we get them a mic? Can I give them this mic, Nick? I'll give Melissa's mic. Go ahead real quick. What happened? I want to find, are the asthma people back in the room? They're still like running. They can't go that far already.
Is it on?
Yeah, what happened? What happened to you?
Myself and my 2 children were rear-ended in January. And we had multiple injuries, and I just tested. My biggest injury was hip and squash discs and chronic back pain.
Listen how crazy this is. I should have shared this first. I actually saw a hip. Is it your left hip?
Yes.
Yeah, left hip. And I saw tonight the Lord was going to heal like spines that had been kind of like, I just saw spines like compressed.
Yes.
I should have shared it earlier. But I saw the left hip and then a spine got compressed. Don't move for a second.